Train friends, welcome back to another Lionel catalog review. This is the Lionel 2022 Volume 2 catalog. It just dropped yesterday, July 15th, 2022. And before we check it out, don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already. And at the end of the catalog, let me know what you think about it. Let me know what your favorite engines were, or rolling stock, or your top 3 or top 5, whatever you liked the most. Leave it in the comments below. And as always, thanks for watching. So let's get started on it. So you can see right on the front cover is this great looking Challenger, which we'll talk about here shortly. So we're going to try to make this catalog review not too lengthy and enjoyable. So let's go along and check it out. Here's your table of contents and the Base 3 and Cab 3 app advertisement again. We saw this for the first time in the last catalog, and here it is again. It's going to be a great system. Looks like the Hell's Gate bridge, really neat, and it's nice that they're offering a new control system. It would be nice if they had the legacy remote still, but this is going to be pretty cool to check out. And then you can still get your Cab 1 remote controls. Those are still available. So I'm not going to go over this because it was talked about a lot in the last catalog and most people know about it already. And then this is just showing you that you can run it with the Cab 3 app that'll come with the purchase of the base. Alright, so we're going to get into the O-scale steam locomotives, and the first thing you see here is the Challengers. And this is just showing you the anatomy of a steam locomotive, all the things that come in a standard legacy steam locomotive, the best sounds in the industry. And there it is, the brass hybrid Challenger 3819. Check that thing out. And the details look amazing just in the pictures. And you can see it has the early era styling on this tender and the locomotive, which is really neat. So the locomotive is 28.5 inches long. It operates on 072 curves. It will have whistle steam effects. These will have the 3 speakers, 2 in the tender, 1 in the locomotive. So it's almost like a Vision Line engine. It'll have great sounds. These types of engines sound really good in person because when you hear the sounds that are supposed to come from the locomotive itself, they come from that speaker in the front, such as the whistle and the bell. And overall, the sounds just sound really good in these engines. So here's the choices that you have: the Pilot, the Greyhound version, and then below is the 3819. You can also get a 3826, which is not shown, and also an unnumbered version, which is not shown. And the price on these is $24.99.99. Wow. I'm sure this is going to be a great engine and it'll be worth that price. I'm probably not going to get one just because it's not a quote-unquote must-have for me, but this would be a really great engine to get if you're a Union Pacific fan, and it's going to have a lot of details since it's a brass hybrid. And then moving along to the second page, you can see they have the 3836 up above here, and also the 3815, and then below is the 49er scheme, and it's the 3835. I really like that. It's a neat looking engine, and it's definitely a colorful one at that. So it's a great looking locomotive for the Union Pacific fans. This does have the 4-digit addressing, which is new with that Cab 3 base and the Cab 3 app. So you can address these with 4 digits, just like the Class A's in the last catalog. And it's going to be a nice looking engine. I'm going to be excited to check one of these out for sure. So let's see what we got on the next page. We have the L1 Mikados. And these are an all-new product, it says here. And I've come to learn that this is an ex-MTH tolled Mikado, which is kind of exciting because The MTH steam locomotives are very well detailed, and this one is going to be amazing to hear with the legacy sounds in it. And these do have whistle steam, and they're coming in priced at $949.99, which, to be honest, isn't so bad for a mediocre size steam engine. And I really like this one below. I've looked over the catalog once or twice before doing this video, and I like this one below here with the doghouse tender. I had an MTH decapod with that tender in the doghouse, and it's a really neat looking tender, and that would be the one I would choose right here, number 1343. Also, you have over on the right side a 1369, then you have a Santa Fe version, and then you have the DT and I 317, and then the Lehigh and New England 501 below. These do operate on 042 curves. They come in at 21 3/4 of an inch long. All right, next page is the Greenbrier. So these are a really nice looking locomotive. There is quite a few different options. We'll talk about those next. First, let's go over how much these cost. That's what everybody always wants to know. $1699.99. And you can see the wheel arrangement. It's a 4/8/4 wheel arrangement. And this is also an all-new product. You can see here, these are XMTH tolled as well. Down below you can see there's a 611, a 614 up here, and then on the right you have the chassis system 614 and the family line 614. These are operating on 072 curves. They're 21 3/4 of an inch length, and they do have whistle steam as well. And then when you flip the page, you'll see there's a nice 613 version with the elephant ears smoke deflectors, which is really cool. And then some nice looking heavyweight passenger cars down below. And that would be a really nice set to have all those cars with the locomotive. And then a nice looking woodside caboose as well, coming in at $119.99. I like the caboose. And it's just a great looking set. I think that would be a very nice looking prototypical C&O set. All right, moving along to the next page is a highly talked about scheme here. This is an orange and silver Chesapeake and Ohio passenger set. And I have to say, I really like this paint scheme. I personally wouldn't buy it, but I think it would be a very attractive scheme on running around on a layout. It would just catch a lot of attention. But out of the Greenbriers, I think this is the best looking one, if you want my opinion. Same price, $1699 for the locomotive, and then you have the passenger car set below. It's $899.99 for 4 cars, $450 for 2 cars, and then $399 for if you want a Station Sounds diner car right here. They do have the LED interior lighting as well. All right, next page is something that everybody is going to be happy about if you're a Strasburg Railroad fan, because they have Moguls back. And on the next page, you're going to see there is a Strasburg version of the Mogul. But before we get to that, let's not skip over these. We got the San Luis and Rio Grande 1744. The Moguls are coming in at $799.99, and it's a great price for a legacy steam locomotive, and it can operate on 031 curves. It's 21 3/4 of an inch length, so it can operate on small layouts and large layouts. Below that, there's a Middletown and Hummelstown number 91, a Southern Pacific 1760, and then the Canadian National over here on the right, it is number 89. And then you have some nice looking the Canadian National wood-sided passenger cars. And I said this before in the previous catalog reviews, that these are the MTH tooled passenger cars that are wood-sized, and they are absolutely beautiful. I have some of the MTH ones, and they're my favorite passenger cars that I personally own. It's just unfortunate that they are $450 for 2 cars. Kind of wish they were a little bit more attractively priced, but they're worth it, to be honest. They're nice. They're very nice cars. All right, so here it is. It's the Strasbourg Mogul, number 89. There's the 2000s version right here. That's a great looking engine. That's going to hit home with the Strasbourg fans. And then you can get the 1970s version right here. And it says there's a new gearbox design. Not sure what exactly that would be, but it'll be a new design nonetheless. And then below that, you can get the green and yellow, nice looking passenger cars from Strasbourg Railroad. You can see that they're very, very colorful, and they would look great behind this engine. They had the red and gold passenger cars in the last catalog for the Strasbourg 90. So you could mix and match them in together, and it would look good, really good. All right, and then here's some more passenger cars. Speaking of those, you have some heavyweights here, green Pullman car below, and this nice looking gray and red one on the right, and then the Pica Valley, the brown and yellow scheme right there. And then up above is a nice looking wood-sided caboose from Strasbourg Railroad. I like that. Got to have the caboose if you have the engine, right? And if this thing would unfreeze, there we go. All right. All right, moving along. And we get into the legacy diesels. And we're already past the steam talking about diesels already. So let's get into it and find out what's in here. All right, so the first item up for the pages here is the SD40T-2s. And this is a great engine. I love the SD40s, whether it's the SD40T-2 or the SD40-2. The main difference is that the SD40T-2 does not have the rear porch in the back. You can see it doesn't have the porch. So it's a great looking locomotive. These come in priced at $649.99. This Santa Fe scheme looks really good. It looks like it has a flashing beacon light on the roof. Kind of really wish that these SD40s had the operating ditch lights. I really like having the ditch lights on locomotives. They're kind of cool to have on diesels. Then you have a nice looking Santa Fe. I'm not sorry, the Southern Pacific below the Santa Fe with the bloody nose. That's really cool. Over on the right hand side, this nice looking Southern Pacific, the Kodachrome paint scheme, and then a Susquehanna Southern Pacific, the Black Widow. That's really nice. And at the bottom, the Western Pacific. Quickly, these are 0.31 curve minimum, and they come in at 17.25 inches in length. They do have super base options as well. You can see each one you can get a super base unit for $599.99. That's where the locomotive is unpowered but has all the sound system inside and smoke and lighting, just no motors. So you could use it behind any locomotive. And then on the next page we have the FA2 AA sets with B units as well. The first one on the left here is the Halloween set. It's the Fast Fright Service. And these are $1099.99. And let's see, the spooky sounds, you can see that one's going to have in it. You can get the B units for $549.99 for a powered, or the super bass is $499.99. Over on the left hand side, I'm sorry, the right hand side, we have the Louisville and Nashville, and below that the Erie Lackawanna. These FA sets are 0.31 minimum requirement, and the length comes in at 13.5 inches in length. That's for each of the A units. All right, so let's go to the next page. We got some more FA2s. We've got the Delaware and Hudson, the New York Central, the Lightning Stripe scheme, and then you have the Pennsylvania and the 5 stripe and the Tuscan scheme, which is really nice. And then the Southern Pacific Black Widow. That's probably, honestly, the Black Widow may be the best looking one, even though I'm a Penske fan, you guys know that. All right, so let's go to the next page. We have yet another FA2. This is the United States Marine Corps. That's a nice looking one. And then below that, we have some really nice looking United States Army passenger cars. And then you have a caboose that matches the set, a box car that make a really nice set if you added all those together. Looks like you can buy them separately if you like. All right, and then we have the Union Pacific Heritage Fleet is back. And this is the SD70 ACE. They are 036 curve requirements. They are 19 inches in length. And it's really nice to see that these are back. These do have the ditch lights that I was talking about before. The SD70s have just amazing sound sets in them. And these were very popular back in the, I'd say around 2008, 2009-ish time period, maybe even slightly before that. When Lionel did the first run with these with the legacy system in them, and they were great running locomotives. I don't recall hearing many people complain about them or having issues with them. I owned several of them myself, even though some of them weren't Union Pacific heritage, but they always ran great. And these are a nice welcome back to the offering from Lionel. So you have the Rio Grande Heritage, Northwestern, the Missouri Pacific, and the MKT, the Katy. And then if you flip the page, you can see there's more. There's the Southern Pacific scheme, and then the Western Pacific below that. I really like the Southern Pacific. It's nice looking colors. And then on the right hand side, there's the Montana Rail Link Essential Workers, the Montana Rail Link Veterans, and then a C&O, what looks like sort of like a CSX C&O version SD70 ACE. All right, and then on the next page we have the H1544s. These are neat looking. This says this is an all new product, and I've come to learn that this is a Rail King scale locomotive tolling. So this is a tolling that used to be Rail King scale. So these will be scale size. They're I've had Rail King scale engines before, and they were fantastic. Nothing wrong with them at all, and they look great. And it's going to be cool to see these with legacy. These are 15 inches in length. Their minimum curve requirement is 031, so you could run this on any layout. And they are $599.99. There's a nice Rock Island paint scheme right there. Below that is the Central of Georgia, and then on the right hand side, the Rio Grande, Kansas City Southern, and the Monon, and then below that is the Union Pacific. I would say the Rock Island or the Monon stand out to me as the two neatest looking paint schemes for these, in my opinion. But they all look great. So let's go on to the following page. So these are two really great looking sets. We'll talk about the one up top first. This is the Western Maryland Hagerstown Hot Shot set. And as you can see, this one comes with two Legacy F2AAs. And it's really neat how they're different colors and paint schemes. So just the contrast between those two looks great. And then included in that set, you get this great looking box car, a flat car with the trailer on it, coal hopper, and this nice looking Western Maryland caboose. That set is priced at, you can see right there, $1599.99. And that's a great deal considering these two engines alone on the other page, they would have been $1099. So, for the extra $500 you get, the 4 additional cars there. Below that is a great looking Cumberland Valley Way Freight set. This one comes with the Legacy Pennsylvania L1 Mikado, as you can see right here. Behind it, you have a boxcar with one of them that includes the freight sounds, and then another boxcar over here. It's like an Apple car. This car is really interesting. Is a flat car with a trolley on it, and the trolley is actually operable. It's a conventional bump and go trolley that you could actually take off of that flat car and run on a bump and go track, which is pretty cool. And then I didn't mean to skip this, but there's also a nice looking wood-sided Pennsylvania caboose that you get in that set, and that set is $14.99.99. And that, to be honest, that's a great set considering you get the locomotive, a box car with the sounds, and a flat car with an operating bump and go trolley. That's actually a really good deal. And it actually looks like you get the tender with the doghouse on it right there. So that's the one that I said that I liked out of the Mikados that were available. That set runs on 042 curves, and the whole entire length of that set is 67.5 inches. Real quickly, to go back to the set up above, the Hot Shot set, that set is 79 inches in length and operates on 036 curves. All right, and that does it for the locomotives. Here we start the rolling stock. We have the Union Pacific Heritage trailers on flat cars, and these look fantastic, and they would be really, really nice behind those Heritage engines. So there's the Chicago Northwestern, Rio Grande, the Katy, the Western Pacific, Southern Pacific, and the Missouri Pacific, and these come in at $149.99 a piece, and they run on 036 curves. All right, next page is 60-foot box cars. There's this great-looking Reading and Blue Mountain and Northern car. It's got like the map on it. That's just really, really cool. These are $129.99, and then below that is a couple cars with some graffiti on them, and those are neat looking. Trying to zoom out. There we go. And then a John Deere car below that. And then over on the right side, there is the Chevrolet and Ford items. You can get the box cars and the billboards to go along with it. And okay, the next page is the 100-ton hoppers. These are 2-packs. The 2-packs are $299.99. There's a few different options here. There's the Burlington Northern, Chessie, Denver and Rio Grande, Norfolk Southern. I like the Norfolk Southern one. It comes with 2 different hoppers. I like that. Reading and Southern Pacific. All right, enough about the hoppers. Let's talk about this. This is the one everybody is talking about. This was in the last catalog, and it's the Hobo box cars. And it looks like this one has 2 Hobo figures in it. These are $209.99. And it says here that they are going to have hobo sounds inside, playing hobo camp sounds when stopped or freight sounds in motion. These cars will be a great addition to any scene. And I can't wait for this one personally. I did order one from the last book, and they should be due to arrive pretty soon, I guess. Haven't checked the shipping schedule, but for this offering, we have Cotton Belt, Frisco, Ann Arbor, and Western of Alabama. All right, and then on the next page are these really great looking N6B cabin car cabooses. These are the woodsides, and woodside cabooses are really nice. I like the Pennsylvania, obviously. A couple options there. They're $119.99. One that stands out to me is the one with the large logo there. I like that. Yellow is for the maintenance away. And then on the right side, there's a few Northeast cabooses, Lehigh in New England, Maine Central, and Rock Island. Those are $129.99. Both of these operate on 031 curves. Next page, we have the Standard O insulated box cars that are $69.99. Cotton Belt, State of Maine, the Northern Pacific, and then the Western Maryland. And on the right side, there's standard O unibody tank cars. These ones look really interesting with the graffiti on it. You can see right there. There's a Reading and Northern, U.S. Army tank car, Cargill Foods, the GATX with the graffiti on it. That'd be my pick out of these. And then the Procore at the bottom. All right, so we're moving along to the traditionally sized O-gauge items. These are the Lion Chief sets and freight cars to go along with them. You can see again here, you can order the Amtrak Genesis with the Lion Chief 2.0 and the Operation Lifesaver paint scheme. It's a neat looking paint scheme. All right, first up are the 060T tank engines. These steam engines were really popular when they were available in a few catalogs ago, and they sold out really fast. And I think Lionel picked up on that, and they also picked up the price on that to go along with the demand. They're $349.99. I believe they were $249.99 in the last book, so it's like a $100 increase. They operate on 031 curves. They are Lion Chief Plus 2.0, so you get the fan-driven smoke unit, and you can control it with a legacy remote or that new Cab 3 system, or you can use the Lion Chief app. You have Reading, Alaska Railroad, Lehigh Valley, and New Haven. So if you're a New Haven fan, you might want to order one of these. Or Alaska, or any of those for that matter. And on the right-hand side is another Lion Chief Plus 2.0 engine. It's the NW2s. These are $449.99. You have Santa Fe and New York Central right there. And if we can get this thing to zoom back out. Below that, the Great Northern and the Seaboard. 031 for those. And then on the next page is the Santa Fe Auto Rack set. It's a nice looking set. It comes with the locomotive and the 3 matching auto rack cars. You can get a couple additional cars below that. And then over here there's a neat looking building. This is Roscoe's Flats Tire and Auto. The Tire and Auto store is $129.99. The Santa Fe Auto Rack set is $549.99. All right, and then we have some gold medal milk flat cars and the Cowan Family Creamery, Milwaukee Road Anniversary car, and Chicago Railroad Fair cars right there. Then these are really neat looking. The Bazooka box cars right there with the Bazooka Joe graphics and comics on them. That's pretty neat. And then below that are some more Ford and Chevy items. Looks like you can personalize that and put your car on it. That'd be a cool idea. All right. And then we're moving along to some accessories. So this is a funny looking accessory with the stop death flashing crossing lights. That's really cool. And here it is. It's called the Billups Crossing Gate for $199.99. That does come with the track section and the crossing there. So it does, and it says it has a siren with blinking lights. That's gonna be pretty neat to see. Hopefully somebody gets one of those and puts it on YouTube. And then on the right hand side is the roadside diner for $149.99. You can see it's Owl's Late Night. And then this is an Amtrak passenger station. Then that is definitely an ex-MTH passenger station. That one's $169.99. So if you're an Amtrak fan, that's something that you don't see too often, is a Amtrak passenger station. All right, the next items up here are this laser cut wood deck. And it comes with the caboose as well. Then below, some road crossings. You got on the right, you have the she shed with sounds. It has sounds in it. And then above that, you have the Grandpa's Workshop with Sounds. Those would be pretty neat to see or hear. What kind of sounds they put in those. Some more accessories here. You have some neat looking gaming accessories. These would be pretty cool. These come in a 3-pack. So you can see it says Midway Games 3-pack with figures, $119.99. And doesn't say anything about lighting in those. Kind of looks like they should have some lighting in them, but it doesn't really say. But on the right hand side, looks like you have the Carnival Treat stand and then the fake news stand. So there you have it. $159.99 for the fake news stand. All right, then the final things in the catalog here, we just go over some power and control items, the transformers, control blocks, and then the somewhat forgotten S-gauge, but not really forgotten. Honestly, there's a lot of S-gaugers out there, more than people realize still. And it's honestly, it's a really neat scale because you can fit a lot in a pretty compact area and still have the feel of a nice scale looking locomotive and it not be so tiny. But the first items are the Flyer Chief Baldwin switchers. Those look nice. Over on the right hand side you have some great looking PAA sets, and this New Haven ones stands out right away with the stripes on it. That's really neat. And those look great. They're the PAA sets are $899.99. Those have Legacy in them. The Flyer Chief Baldwin switchers I talked about just a second ago. On the left-hand side, those are $259.99. Those are Flyer Chief, basically the same thing as Lion Chief, but it's Flyer Chief when it's in S-gauge. And then on the next page, we have the Santa Fe Gold Bonnet Legacy set up above here. And that's a really nice looking set. It's $999.99. Comes with the locomotive and 4 passenger cars. Below that, you can get some passenger cars to match the locomotives on the previous page, Union Pacific and the Southern, New Haven, and the Nickel Plate. Here's some freight cars to go along with your S-gauge locomotives: Santa Fe, BNSF, Canadian National, Ferromex, and Southern auto racks. And then on the left-hand side, I did it again. On the right-hand side are the flat cars, and those are $59.99. The auto racks are $99.99. All right, so that pretty much does it for the book. And here is a neat-looking TCA ATSF Legacy SD45. I believe you could probably order through the TCA. That's a nice looking locomotive. And we're just gonna get to the end here. Oh, there's still HO. I forgot about the HO items. Oh man, got to go through that. Ready to play sets. So I guess that pretty much does it for the catalog. My thoughts on this catalog are, I would say on a scale of 1 to 10, I'd give it, I don't know, maybe like a 6 to 7, probably a 7. There's a lot of really cool items in it. Not a whole lot of items that personally appeal to me from my own collection, but I know there's a lot of items in here that stand out as a whole to everyone, especially I would say, you know, that Strasbourg 89 and the Challengers are really nice. I would say my number 1 and number 2 items for me personally are in this catalog would be the Mikado and the Woodside cabooses, the Pennsylvania Woodside cabooses. Those were my my top 2 items for me. Just like I said, for me personally, for the catalog, a top 5 items, I would say maybe the Moguls for sure, and the Mikados, the Challenger, the Hobo car with sounds, and probably, and then I almost forgot, and the UP Heritage units. Those are definitely in the top 5, in not any particular order, but definitely those would be the top 5 items I think in this catalog. So let me know what you think in the comments below. You know, what your top 3 or top 5 maybe, or your favorite item, just leave a comment below. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I really appreciate it, guys. And thanks as always for watching, and we'll see you next time. Take care.